just got back from our 3-day trip to Krut. We came back along the Royal Coast Road, which I highly recommend rather than going on the highway, especially if you're not used to driving in countries like Thailand. And with that in mind, I want to explain some facts about renting a motorbike here in Thailand. All motorbike rental shops will rent you a motorbike with your home country's car driving licence, even though it's against the law to drive a motorbike in Thailand on a car driving licence. The motorbike rental company places the onus on the renter to have a proper motorbike driving licence. Because if they insisted on the renter having a motorbike licence, they wouldn't be able to rent many motorbikes. The problem is driving licences aren't policed very well, and most people who come here for a holiday and rent a motorbike get away with it. Or sometimes they're stopped by the police and fined 500 baht, and then they're allowed to drive away on the motorbike that they're not legally licensed to drive. So the big problem you'll have if you decide to rent a motorbike will be if you have a motorbike accident and you're injured and need hospital care. Some people come here with no travel insurance, so they'd have to pay their own hospital anyway, but many people do have travel insurance. But if you have an accident on a motorbike while driving with a car driving licence, not a motorbike driving licence, then the insurance company will not pay out because you weren't licensed to drive that motor vehicle. I see probably once a month at least on the internet and in newspapers about foreign tourists coming to countries like Thailand and then having an accident when riding a hired motorbike with their car driving licence. Many are hospitalised and badly injured, and when their travel insurance refused to pay out because they were driving illegally, then their relatives back home go on sites like GoFundMe and ask the public to pay to get their relative home. Most people think that when they're on holidays, accidents only happen to other people, not to them. But unfortunately, that's not true. So if you think you can come to Thailand for a holiday and do a road trip like I often do, make sure you have the proper licence before you arrive. Otherwise, you could find yourself in a lot of difficulty should you have an accident. Anyway, that's the serious stuff over with. As I promised in my last video, I'll go through with you the total cost of how much we spent on our 3-day road trip from Hua Hin to Krut. Let's start with the petrol costs. I had to fill up the tank a couple of times, so the cost was around about 240 baht for the round trip. The first night's hotel in Kirakan came to 1,100 baht, including the full buffet breakfast. When we were driving into Kirakan, we stopped at a macro and picked up a bottle of Australian red wine for 300 baht, which we took with us to the restaurant that evening, and the restaurant we go to doesn't charge a corkage fee for wine. We went to my favourite bar in Kirakan and had pre-dinner drinks, which cost us 160 baht. The total bill for dinner that night was 592 baht, as we bought our own wine. The next morning, before heading to Krut, we had the full buffet breakfast, which was included in the 1,100 baht I paid for the hotel room. We then took the 90-minute drive to Krut and checked in at the Krut Arcadia Resort for 2 nights, which cost 2,200 baht, including full buffet breakfast. We went to my favourite restaurant in Krut for dinner the first night, and the bill for the food and drink came to 860 baht. We had a full buffet breakfast the next morning, which was included in the room charge, and dinner that night was from the night market, and we sat at a beach bar and had a few drinks, with the total bill coming to 380 baht. So the total spend for the 3 days was 5,892 baht. So let's add on 500 baht for miscellaneous expenses such as coffee, snacks and other foods and tips, and that comes to 6,392 baht. So that's $203 or $67 a day, 280 Australian dollars or $93 a day, 149 Great British pounds or £50 a day, and 171 euros or 57 euros a day. So I'll leave it up to you guys to work out the difference between how much a 3-day trip with hotel, food, drink and petrol would cost in your own country compared to here in Thailand. But having lived in the UK, Australia and the USA and visited Europe often, the cost in those countries for a 3-day getaway would be much more expensive. I would think at least 4 times more expensive. Now that the high season is nearly over, as the high season normally ends at the end of February, we'll be taking more road trips as it's a lot cheaper for hotels in the off season. And here's a reminder, don't forget to go to my website and pick up your free Flipbook magazine on Koh Samui. The book is filled with everything you need to know about holidaying on the island. As I said, it's free, so what are you waiting for? Go and get your free copy today. So go to my website and take a look at all my books about retiring or living overseas, as well as 3 of my books in the Tie-Dyed series of books featuring Police Lieutenant Chai Son SINUAN, an incorruptible Thai police officer in a police force that is rife with corruption. These intriguing plots are sure to captivate readers who appreciate a blend of cultural depth and real-time suspense. For something a little different, you'll find Adolf Fittler, a work of fiction, though it's based on my own experiences when growing up in Middlesbrough during the 1950s and 1960s. This was the time of the Windrush era, where immigrants from Caribbean and other Commonwealth countries came to the UK to undertake a variety of jobs to help rebuild the nation after World War II. The book takes in the difficulties that the immigrants faced due to their ethnicity and the colour of their skin, and it's seen through the eyes of a young boy called Adolf Fittler, who started his life as a racist because he had no choice, as when he was growing up, that's all that his racist father talked about. Every conversation revolved around or related to black or Asian people. But in 1959, there was a turning point in Adolf's life, an event that would transform the way that he would view the world and live his life, when Winston and Kalisha Brown, 2 kids from Jamaica, moved into a council house just 2 doors down from the Fittler house. Another book that you'll find on my website is The Deptford Mask Murders, a work of fiction based on a true story. In 1905, a crime took place in London that would change the way that the police forces around the world would identify criminal suspects. The Deptford Mask Murders. On the 27th of March in 1905, Thomas Farrow was found beaten to death in an oil and paint shop he managed in Deptford. Anne Farrow, Thomas's wife, was also badly beaten and succumbed to her injuries and died in hospital 1 week later. This was a crime that Scotland Yard Fingerprints Bureau had been waiting for since the Bureau was formed in 1901. A high-profile crime that would put the spotlight on the science of fingerprinting as a reliable, efficient and infallible system of identifying criminals. A week after the crime was committed, brothers Alfred and Albert Stratton were arrested and later put on trial at the Old Bailey, accused of wilful murder. The prosecution had very little evidence to convict the brothers, and what they did have was mainly circumstantial, except for a thumbprint which was found on the cash box in the Farrow's bedroom above the paint shop. So thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to get your free flip book from my website. Take care, safe travels, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers for now.